On my wrist when I step up on a diamond, 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 diamonds on my wrist when I step up on
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. The Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, is coming to you from actually Florida still. We're out here all week. So as you guys can see, I'm in my hotel room right now. But frankly, I don't take plays off. All right. I'm here to deliver this every single morning show. You don't get to be the top morning show in freight by taking a play off or anything like that. But before we jump in, as always, I got a very special guest for you guys to jump in and lead off the show with me. And she is the crowd favorite, Miss Stacy Steen over at V-Hub. What's going on, Stacy?
Hi, Chris. Not too much. What's going on with you? How's Florida?
Florida is fantastic. Living in the desert in Arizona, I absolutely have fallen in love with the humidity. And I wonder if it's only because I get to leave it and not have to live in it 24/7.
Yeah, I feel the same way here in Montreal. So, we have the 4 seasons, but sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it.
You have winter and non-winter. Let's call it what it is, Stacey.
That's true. That's true. When it starts snowing in April, then, the season's just shifting. So
Exactly. Good morning, Bojan. Dennis Everett, good morning. He's over there on YouTube. Tim Wells, good morning, sir. So Stacy, what do we got going right now? I'm going to pull up some of those graphics here as always, but what's going on down in San Diego right now?
So right now we have 20 dry vans available for repositioning in San Diego that are going up to Spokane, Washington. So this owner specifically has allotted 10 to 14 days to get these trailers, these empty trailers that are available for loadout from San Diego up to Spokane. So if you have any drivers for those lanes, we have those available on the platform, and you can make an offer and you get paid to do the repositioning. So if you need an empty trailer in the San Diego area going up to Spokane, let me know.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then hold on, I'm going to be sharing my screen here. And again, you guys, I don't have my normal setup here, so I'm figuring this all out. Stacy, can you see the map at all?
No, I can't.
You can't. All right. Well, I think you're not going to be able to, but the viewers are going to be able to, it looks like. So we're just going to pull that up out there. We got that Shippensburg, York, PA repositioning out there as well. So what's looking with that one still?
So for Shippensburg, so those are available in the Montreal area for pickup.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, if you are looking, and this also provides a round trip opportunity. So if you're in the Montreal area and you're going down to the USA, you can bring those trailers down to Shippensburg, down to York. And this owner is actually very flexible of the drop location. So if you are in Montreal or surrounding areas, you can take an empty trailer, dry van, and bring it down to whichever state. You just get in touch with myself, let me know which state, your lane, whichever way you're going, and we can make that work. And this also, we have trailers leaving that can go back up into Montreal. So we have trailers in New Jersey right now that need to go back up to Montreal. So if you're just, going back and forth, you can get paid for these repositionings and, not deadheading back and forth.
No, absolutely. And then we also have Utah. How many trailers do we have in Utah or Clearfield, Utah, going out to Delta, BC? We got there and then over in Arkansas as well, right?
Yes. So we actually have right now 10 at each location. So we have some in Virginia. We have some in Arkansas and in Utah. Those are brand new 2022 dry vans that need to go up to Delta, BC. So you can, again, pick them up at either of those 3 locations, Utah, Arkansas, Virginia, and get paid for those repositionings. And that owner is paying $18.50 USD per trailer. So that's extra money for, to offset. If your trailer is down, you can offset repairs on that trailer, on your own trailer. So we have quite a few options. And something I'd also like to share is we had an owner who has trailers in New Jersey. So now, being creative with V-Hub, he's like, do you have anything available that needs to go down to New Jersey, and that's in the Montreal area. So as a yes, we do. And, you know, that owner is paying around 1,100 USD to bring trailers back down to the US. He wanted to bring them down to Jersey instead of Shippensburg, and we worked that out. So he's sending drivers and just bringing them down empty because he doesn't have a load, he doesn't need a load, but he's just getting paid to, you know, for his drivers to just go down there and then go pick up his trailers. So
no, absolutely, I love that. I know we only got Stacy for a couple of minutes here this morning. Sorry, guys. I'm sure you guys would rather hear from her than me every single day. But, you know, you guys keep coming back. So, Stacy, how can anybody reach out to you and find out more if any of these trailers or any other capacity options, or just to get signed up on VHub? How can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so anybody can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Send me a direct message, personal message, and I will be happy to help. Even if you're an asset owner and you need your trailers repositioned, please reach out to myself, and I'll be happy to, you know, get you a demo of how the platform works, and we'll go from there. So just send me a message on LinkedIn, and we'll go from there.
That works. Stacy, as always, thanks for joining in. She'll be back more. You guys don't worry. In one of these weeks, we're going to get her locked in to do another live show with me for the whole time. So
there we go.
By all means, Stacy. Well, hey, enjoy the rest of your day. All right.
Thanks so much, Chris. Bye.
All right, we'll see ya. Bye. All right, guys. That's it. It's me. It's back to being solo. Presley, good morning. Appreciate you joining me. Bree, good morning from rainy Kansas. There we go. Dave Abels, Chicago. It's chilly and windy. Isn't that par for the course up there, though, Dave? Samantha Bass, good morning as well. Yeah, guys, we got some interesting stuff to talk about here today, as always. And again, before we jump into any of those articles, as you know, we're at day 43 of the Freight Coach Tally. Day 43 of there being a truck parking issue out there, as well as a bathroom issue and facilities issue for some of our drivers. And again, I will literally stop talking about this as soon as I stop getting direct messages and stuff from the audience or from my driver friends that are out there. When they stop sending me that stuff and they say, hey, this has been changed. Again, I see both sides of it, but again, like, we need to continue to bring awareness to this stuff, because it's not just talking about it when it's fun, you know, or when it gets a couple extra clicks and everything else and a couple of extra likes that are out there. We don't need that. We need quality change to happen in this industry, and it's going to start with us. I'll gladly talk about this every single day of the week until there is some meaningful change that's out there in it. And then also, I don't want to remind you guys of this right now, but I have to remind you guys of the fact that the price of gold is up 16 cents a gallon. It's at $5.70. All right, $5.70 a gallon right now out there for our drivers. And, you know, at the end of the day, we can't control the fuel prices, but what can you do to set your driver partners up for success right now? How can we work more cohesively to make sure our customers' freight is taken care of? Because, like, at the end of the day, as a broker, you might not say that fuel doesn't affect you, but it does affect you, because shrinking capacity for any reason out there hurts our business as a broker. So for me, what can we do to get creative? You know, if you're out there, you know, and again, like my friends over at Trucker Tools, they have all of that listed out on their app. So if you're a driver, for starters, you're on Trucker Tools, put the lanes that you're running out there, and that will pull up the most cost-effective fuel for your operation on the lanes that you're running out there. So check that out. You know, again, it's just about how can we continuously work together? How can we continuously work to improve and move this industry forward? Because that's what we're all about. At the end of the day, you guys, I'm only concerned about progress and education for this industry. All right. There's enough bullshit that goes on in real life that we don't need to talk about any of that stuff. But again, what can we do to work better together? That's what it needs to be about. Sunny, yes, I'm not finished yet. Today is the last day, though. I got my reading done, my first workout done. I'm almost done with my gallon of water for the day. I'm going to do my second workout here as soon as the show is over. And then it's pretty much just following my eating plan for the rest of the day. I'm going over to Animal Kingdom to meet up with my wife and my son. They've been loving Florida because they've been out there watching or going out to Universal Studios as well as Disney. And they've been having a blast. And I'm going to go meet them here this afternoon for a few hours after we finish up here today. And then, yeah, tomorrow, though, we'll talk about that on the live show. And Laura, I've spent a lot of time up in the Pacific Northwest, and it seems that the only time it's not raining is like a brief 3-week period in August. Juan, what's up, brother? Good morning, sir. Let's see. Yeah, many of the calls I'm getting out for loads of ask for my carriers have tons of freight cards. Seems legit carriers are sitting out. I think that what you're going to see that, honestly, like I would say this, you guys, when fuel starts to increase, start paying closer and closer attention to some of the, carriers that you're sourcing, because fuel advances, if you're a company that offers fuel advances, fraud is rampant during these times. All right. If you don't have a process in place, and I was talking to my buddy Andrew Teal about this yesterday. If you don't have a process in place right now to have a checks and balance system for fuel advances, if you offer them, you need to do that. If you don't require a seal number, if you don't require verification from the shipper or signed copy of the deal, whatever that looks like, you need to start doing that. Furthermore, if you are handing out fuel advances before drivers pick up loads, I would advise to stop doing that right away. Get on the same page with it. They have to get loaded up. They have to be set up. They have to be active. Go through the process of this, all you guys. Don't skip any of these steps, because ComCheck scams and advanced scams are always a thing, but especially when there's, higher fuel costs and everything else. And again, this isn't everybody. These are just things to be aware of that I've personally experienced in my career, moving 3 truckloads in total. But yeah, check that stuff out. Stay on top of that stuff, and we'll go from there. But yeah, let's dive in. The first article that we're going to break down today, you guys, is from my friends over at the JOC. This one was wrote by Bill Cassidy, released last night. Shippers adapting to a realignment of U.S. trucking capacity and rates. U.S. shippers desperate to regain pricing power and reduce trucking costs after 2 years with motor carriers firmly in the driver's seat can finally see some light on the horizon, thanks to a sharp correction in the truckload spot market that saw line haul rates on DAT Freight and Analytics load boards tumble more than 44 cents per mile from March till May. But thus far, relief has been mostly limited to the short-term spot market. Overall, U.S. trucking costs remain well above pre-pandemic levels, buoyed by contract rates, and have risen by double-digit percentages in each of the past 2 years, rising fuel prices and resilient freight demand. The PPI producer price indexes for long-distance trucking and less than truckload pricing from U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics show that the impact of higher contract rates and surcharges. The BLS long-haul truckload PPI rose 5.1% from March and was up 7% from February. Freight demand is growing, not contracting, as would happen in a freight recession. As consumers continue to spend, U.S. factories increase production and imports pile up at U.S. ports and inland rail yards, and that could put up more upward pressure on trucking rates as 2022 unfolds. I think that a lot of what we're seeing with this is there's a lot of limbo that's going to happen. I think when you take a lot of the data out there right now, and again, this is just my opinion on this, but for me, there's going to be a lot of people holding firm. I don't think that anything, and I mentioned this last week, I would say after the 4th of July, after maybe a week after the 4th of July, you are going to see probably that's when they're going to test their waters with a rebid if they haven't started that already. And I think that has to do with a lot with the holiday push of the freight volume. Now, yes, I know one major retailer came out and said that, with their inventory levels, and I know inventory levels are high, but I don't have access to what their specific inventories are. Is it higher inventories on seasonal based items that you're going to see go off into sale? Is it for more of your long-term goods that people use throughout the year, like the plastic bags, trash bags, Ziplocs, stuff like that, something that you consume on a daily or a weekly basis? So the inventory levels are up. Yeah, the statistics, are very much aligned with that. But I don't think there's going to be any drastic changes to the overall pricing structure of some of the freight that's locked in right now. But furthermore, if you are presented with, just be prepared for this. Like, I would always get ahead of it right now. And I'm not going to sit here and say drop to the bottom. Don't ever race to the bottom, but talk to your shippers. You guys talk to your customers about what we can do to lock in consistent pricing here for the next 30, 60, or 90 days. If you're running, say, Dallas to Kansas City, for an example, pull if you're on DAT, use DAT's load board, pull some data on that, do some 30, 60, 90-day freight lanes, or look at your BOS or your rate confirmations that are out there. If you're a driver, if it's held firm at that and you're going direct to a shipper, or as a broker, if your pricing has held firm over the last 30 or 60 days, and you see that trend starting to shift in whatever direction that is, and I'm going to speak in generalities here, you guys, take that information and bring it to your shipper and try and adjust a couple of percentage points in either direction and try and get some locked in long-term pricing, in a sense of like, maybe it's like, hey, can I lock in X rate from Dallas to Kansas City until July 20th or something like that? Try and get for the next 4 to 6 weeks locked in. That's going to be very telling, because obviously fuel historically not to these levels. I think we can call this what it is. But fuel tends to always rise over the summer months because there's increased travel, there's increased everything. So therefore fuel prices are going to rise. But I think that you might see a little bit of a dip around that after the holidays. And that's where I've historically seen it. And again, in my career of moving 3 truckloads, is you've started to see a couple of dips after the 4th of July. There's that lull that's in there. So this might be the time to go to your shipping partners now and try and lock in something more long-term on a 30, 60, or a 90-day freight cycle here with your customers. Now, this isn't technically spot market freight, and this isn't technically contracted freight, but this is a way for you to lock in pricing. All right. More shippers are open to this, you guys, but you need to be able to perform. All right. Any one of us can sit here and say we can do something, but execution is key. All right. So if you've been making if you're a broker out there, here's a line that I live by. All right. If you're good enough to make $1,000 on a shipment, you better be good enough to lose $1,000 on a shipment. Protect the integrity of the relationship with your shipper because the freight is still moving. All right. You got to look at it like that. And then this article also goes on to say, taking greater control. Falling truckload spot rates do pull down contracted rates, but it usually takes several months. And contract rates tend to not fall as fast as spot rates, which I completely agree with. And I've said that constantly on here. And then it goes on to say that, this is from give me just 1 second here. It was in the same period, the national average shipper paid dry van spot rate dropped from $338 to $296 a mile on a weighted basis, according to the JOC analysis of data from DAT and digital freight broker LoadSmart. We ship a lot out of Texas, going to Arizona, Southern California, and New Mexico. And if anything, those lanes have tightened up significantly as suppliers bypass Long Beach and bring containerized freight to Houston. So again, we need to look at where is the freight going to be moving? Where is it going to continuously be? And are there going to be shifts out there? Because again, the national average is one thing, but a lane by lane breakdown is another. So again, I would check that out. You guys, that was from my friends over at the JOC. It's a great article. I truly enjoy reading everything the JOC releases. And yeah, check it out. Title of that article was Shippers Adapting to Realignment of U.S. Trucking Capacity and Rates. And again, you guys rest assured, change is the only constant in life. All right. Please trust me, change is the only constant, and you need to set yourself up on that. Good morning, Anthony Rhodes. Second article we're going to break down today is from ttnews.com. This one was released this morning. Shipping boom expected after Shanghai reopening. China's shipping industry is bracing for a uptick in demand and freight costs as manufacturing activities in Shanghai roars back to life after the city's return to normal starting June 1st. Although the port of Shanghai has been operational, capacity largely was restrained because of the reduced availability of goods in the past 2 months. The port is the world's busiest in terms of container throughput and a major gateway for goods. Since April, most exports have been shipped from the nearby port of, I'm going to botch this name and I apologize, Ningbo. But Shanghai port has seen volume return in recent weeks. Local shipping agents said that South China Morning Post. Lots of export cargo is again going through Shanghai now. Shanghai and Ningbo are 50-50. Let's see. They expect that there's going to be a small rise in container shipping costs after Shanghai's reopening as exporters rush to send goods. But there will be no big fluctuations in price because the traditional peak season for shipping is from late August to the eve of the Lunar New Year has yet to arrive, he added. There were not too many shipments being stranded over the past 2 months as Shanghai port remained operational. And the railway and inland ports also shared the burden. It said that the Ningbo port completed 3.97 million 20-foot TEU. If you see TEU out there, it's 20-foot equivalent units of container throughout May. throughput in May, increasing 14.5% year over year. The May container volume in Shanghai port was 3.41 million TEUs, is a year-on-year decrease of 10%. And yeah, so that one over from Shanghai, ttnews.com, and that one was shipping boom expected after Shanghai reopening. So yeah, it's I think that there's a lot to be seen here. I am no ocean freight expert by any stretch of the imagination. Good morning, Kyle Smith. I am no ocean freight expert by any means, and I will never proclaim to be an expert because I'm not here to be the first to say something or be right. I'm just here to provide resources and education. I'm not trying to sell you guys anything behind the scenes, but you know, for me, it's like, what can you do with this information though? When you're seeing this, again, it's, you know, the data is everything right now with this. Is this going to lead to a massive tidal wave of freight hitting the West Coast ports? Or is it going to be evenly distributed throughout? I mean, I got to talk to my friends over at P44 about this because they have a lot of great information out there. The JOC also has a lot of great information out there through their shipping information. But again, it's like, what can you actually do with this? You know, because the next article that I'm going to bring up here in a little bit completely contradicts everything that this article says. So before I go into any of that, I'm going to bring up the last article of the day. And again, all of these articles, you guys, the links will be put in my podcast platform for them, and then also on my YouTube channel, so you guys can read it. And again, form your own opinions off of this stuff. I'm only here to bring it up to you guys. Formulate your own opinions on here. You know, and I wanted to read this article because this one completely contradicted the other one and a lot of reports that I've seen out there from people. And this one was from FreightWaves. U.S. import demand is dropping off a cliff. Inbound container volumes to the U.S. are reverting to pre-pandemic levels. The last ocean container bookings data reveals that despite the strong levels of inbound cargo during the first 5 months of 2022, import demand is not just softening, it's dropping off a cliff. Because capacity on the Trans-Pacific has remained relatively stable, Freightos container spot rates from China to the West Coast have plunged 38% a month over month to $9,630. Freight forwarders will enjoy expanding margins on ocean freights, while U.S. trucking carriers and intermodal providers may start to see volume risks. Again, note, somebody's always making money off of this shit, you guys. Just throwing that out there when certain freight forwarders are all over the place trying to say that they're, you know, Robin Hood, essentially. They're fucking profiting dollars hands over fist on this. So always be careful about the information that you see. Consumer buying patterns are rapidly normalizing to pre-COVID pandemic levels, and it used Target. So that was the one I was talking about earlier. It used Target as an example after executives said the companies would mark down unwanted items. And again, there's no specific on what those unwanted items are. I'm assuming that would be my direct correlation to that would be it's more seasonal based product and inventory that they've got. Container inbounds have dropped over 36% since May 24th. This is a troubling sign for U.S. domestic freight markets as it's been benefiting from unprecedented surge of containerized port volumes over the last 18 months, since ocean transit times for these inbound containers have recently been averaging between 30 and 35 days. We'll be seeing softer volumes throughout July. The inventory glut, it goes on to say, at the forefront of these reasons is a buildup of inventory here in the U.S., resulting in companies attempting to both replenish inventories that were largely depleted, but also from companies wanting to keep enough inventory in hand just in case any further disruptions occur. It goes on to say, this is a long one, so I'm just kind of jumping around from piece to piece here. And again, always you guys go out and click on these links and read these articles. And it also goes on to say Target addressed their aggressive inventory reduction plan. And then the consumer is getting crushed, it says. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. Conditions for the consumer seem to be getting worse and worse as inflation takes hold of prices and gets more expensive. Just this week, you know, the gas price was up. We can all see that. Credit card spending has been accelerating at a time when personal saving rates have continued to decrease. As always, you guys, if you can't pay for it in cash, don't pay for it at all. Just throwing that out there from a personal level. I'm not your financial advisor. I'll stop right there. Unfortunately, inflationary pressures in energy and food don't know or care that American consumers are out of money. Inflation in hopes of that was sector. So with that one in particular, you know, again, it's Jesus. All right. At first glance, look at retail sales and conclude that they are growing, but keep in mind that these reports are measured in nominal dollars adjusted for inflation, represents increases in prices of goods being sold, not so much the strength or resilience of consumers. And then this was the container surge that never was. The container surge that many have been expecting from Shanghai appears to have mostly already been rerouted through the port of Ningbo. Again, with access to the port of Shanghai being largely blocked due to the landslide restrictions, were quicker to reroute volumes that were out there. And then despite of the reopening of Shanghai, container volumes from China to the U.S. Continued their downward trajectory. So again, from my perspective, it is. You're seeing completely contradictory reports in the sense of, but yeah, I mean, to the defense of FreightWaves in this area, talking about how it shifted to Ningbo port as opposed to Shanghai. And, in some of the articles that I had read, they had said that the reopening of Shanghai was going to cause a lot of the influx in freight. So my personal perspective on this is that it's going to be another market that we have to operate in. All right. And it's something that, headlines are what they are, you guys. Headlines are designed to get you to click on them. I mean, it works for me. Shit, those are that like realistically, you guys, that's why I choose these articles, is because I choose them based off of that. But at the end of the day, how does this affect your business right now? How does this affect your operation as a freight broker? I think that only time will tell. But again, you guys, there is no perfect freight market that's out here. And take everybody's perspective from this. I follow guys like Jason Miller all the time. I'm a big fan of Jason Miller. And if you're not out there following him, you guys need to check out his data. I follow FreightWaves because, again, it's data. I'm trying to be as subjective as possible towards the information that I'm bringing to you guys to provide some reality to it, because you guys can call it what it is. Some of these headlines that are out there are extremely fucking biased. All right. I think that, all things considered, I mean, my most trusted news source out there is the JOC when it boils down to it, when it comes to a lot of this information. I'm not going to hide my bias, but, it's because I have to pay for their stuff. So it's kind of like there's not a real narrative you can put out there. I see the value in it. And that's what I want you guys to do with a lot of this information, is I want you guys to take this information, read it, and formulate your own opinion. Because at the end of the day, you guys, freight is still going to be moving. All right. Just because one headline says one thing and another says another doesn't mean you throw in the fucking towel. All right. It's the exact opposite, because here's what's going to happen. A lot of motherfuckers are going to throw in the towel based off of this. Unfortunately, there's people that are out there that are going to read that title from FreightWaves and make some hastily decisions without doing research on it. Same with transport topics. They're going to also make some decisions based off of the headline itself. But frankly, you need to execute in any freight market that's out there. All right. Again, I'm going to be having more ocean experts come onto this, kind of like I did with the port last fall and everything else. I want to talk to people who are actually going to add value. All right. And who can actually break down this data better than me. Because again, I'm not the smartest fucking guy in the room, but I know a lot of very smart people that are going to be able to provide you guys a subjective and informative approach to a lot of this shit. All right. Because at the end of the day, you guys, you need to show up. Freight's still moving. Freight's still above pre-pandemic levels, as you guys saw out there and hear out there and everything. Freight's still up, but there's a change that's going on. There is literally going to be a change every fucking year in the freight market. Plain and simple. Yes, dedicated trucking, execute. That's it. Again, all of those article links will be out there. That's it for today. I'm actually going to be going live earlier on Thursday and Friday this week. It's going to be at 9 or 8 o'clock Central on Thursday and Friday. And it's because I have some travel stuff coming up here. We're driving down to Tampa tomorrow, and I'm flying out on Friday. And with my travel and everything, I got to rearrange it. So for Thursday and Friday, we're going to be alive at 8 a.m. Central Time just for those days. And we'll be back to our normal scheduled program out there next week. And just be prepared. I got a very, very big announcement coming to you guys early next week on Monday. Be ready for it. As always, subscribe and share this out, you guys, if you see value in it. Because if you see value in it, people in your network are going to see value in it as well. I appreciate you guys all so much. The top morning show and transportation, the Freight Coach Morning Show, coming to you live every single weekday. Again, subscribe and share that out. Check out the podcast as well. It's available. I appreciate you guys all, and we'll be talking to you soon.